10-Minute Murder contains depictions of actual crimes. What you are about to hear is real and violent in nature. Discretion is advised. This is 10-Minute Murder.
Welcome to 10-Minute Murder, the brief and bingeable true crime podcast. I'm Joe, the host, and thank you for being here. If it's your first time listening, hi, welcome. I hope you'll stick around. Click the subscribe button and you'll get all new episodes as soon as they come out. You won't miss not a single one. And if you hate the podcast, that's cool too. I mean, you're wrong and you make poor decisions, but that's fine. JK, I realize this show is not for everyone, but for people like me, those of us that are so interested in the world of true crime and learning stories about what has happened or what is happening in the world around us, but don't have hours to spend hearing about one case, this podcast is meant to give you the information you need and the information that makes the story interesting and move on to the next one. Occasionally, I'll do a deep dive on certain ones, but not so often that you get tired of it. I hope. Because, spoiler alert, this is a longer episode today. Okay, so the story today was sent in by Casey. I'm pretty sure it's Casey. It could be Cassie. Whichever one is right, let's pretend that I said it that way. She wrote, "When I heard the story of Shannon Gale Christian and Hugh Christopher Newsom, it kept me up at night. I would really suggest telling their story because it had such minimal press on it as well. It's truly heartbreaking. Love your podcast. Casey K. Sent from my iPad." And that's a weird flex at the end there with the iPad, but okay. Thank you, Cassie, and I appreciate you listening and writing to me. Well, I spent quite a bit of time reading about this story, and every once in a while, one sticks with you after you hear it. And this is one of those for me. Earlier this week, I was grocery shopping just casually through Publix, singing along to John Mayer that was playing. Like word for word, really getting into it. The song ended, and I stopped singing, and boom, right there in the cereal aisle, the details of this story just popped into my head. No warning at all. I wasn't even thinking about the podcast, but this is a warning to you. This episode is extra disturbing. It's one that you probably won't soon forget. I will not be able to contain this to just 10 minutes, so I hope you'll stick around through the end. 2 victims in Tennessee were kidnapped in 2007, taken to a rental house where they were raped, tortured, set on fire, and murdered. Aside from local Knoxville news, nobody was talking about it. Speculation is that it's because the victims were 2 young white people and the killers were all black. Major media outlets would not cover the story. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it's a story that should be heard. Fox and CNN did eventually do a small story on it, but as a whole, it's a crime largely known by just the community that it happened in. What you're going to hear today is a reminder that evil is out there. If you get too comfortable thinking that you're safe or live in a nice area where bad things only happen to bad people, let this story be a reminder to you that these people were tortured and killed for absolutely no reason. This is the murder on Chipman Street. Shannon Christian, born in 1985 in Nacogdoches, Texas, moved to Tennessee with her family in 1997. She was a graduate of Farragut High School in 2003 and a senior majoring in sociology at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. She was 21 years old and planned on graduating in December 2007. Chris Newsom, born in 1983 in Knoxville, a baseball player for the Halls High School Red Devils, and graduated in 2002. He went on to attend Pellissippi State Technical Community College and became a carpenter. He was 23 years old. On Saturday, January 6, 2007, Shannon and Chris planned to go out for dinner together, then on to a party a friend was having. That afternoon, Shannon went to a friend's apartment to get ready. About 8 p.m., her friend went to the party and she stayed behind to wait for Chris to come pick her up. Chris got there and they walked out to the apartment complex parking lot. In the parking lot, a small group of men watched from their car as the couple hugged each other outside the car. They jumped out and carjacked Shannon and Chris. Both were forced at gunpoint into the back seat of Shannon's SUV, and their hands were tied behind their backs and taken to a house on Chipman Street. Both Shannon and Chris were separately raped. According to the testimony of the Knox County medical examiner, who fought back tears while describing injuries sustained by the two, said that Chris was sodomized with an object and raped by at least one of the men. Chris was taken to a set of railroad tracks where he was forced to walk barefoot to the location that he was murdered. Prosecutors believe a mangled dog leash found on a hillside leading up to the railroad tracks was used to force him to walk to his death. When Chris was murdered, his hands were bound behind his back and his feet were bound together. He was blindfolded with a bandana and gagged with a sock. He wore only a shirt, a t-shirt, and underwear. Chris Newsom was shot in his neck and the back. He was still alive, and after a while, they shot him in the back of his head. The fatal shot was fired with the muzzle of the gun against his head, above the right ear, and severed his brainstem. After killing Chris, the assailants set his body on fire. Shannon was held prisoner inside the house by LaMarcus Davidson. It was his house that they were in, and he was renting it. Just the previous year, he was released after serving a 5-year sentence for carjacking and aggravated robbery. After murdering Chris, the assailants returned to the Davidson house where they beat and repeatedly raped Shannon. The medical examiner testified that she died after hours of sexual torture, sustaining severe head injuries and suffering severe injuries to her vagina, anus, and mouth due to sexual assaults. Her injuries were also consistent with being raped by an object. Prosecutors believe that she was tied to a chair and orally raped by Davidson and Latalvis Cobbins. She was also beaten and kicked in her vagina and beaten on the head. She suffered from massive hemorrhaging, bruises, and carpet burns covered her body. Before killing her, in an effort to remove DNA evidence, bleach was poured down her throat and they scrubbed her body with it. Shannon was hog-tied with curtains and strips of bedding. Her face was tightly covered with a small trash bag, and her body was stashed in 5 large trash bags. She was dumped inside a big trash can, covered with sheets. The medical examiner testified that there was evidence that Christian slowly suffocated to death. As Shannon was left to suffocate, Davidson spent time with his girlfriend and gave her some things that he had stolen from Shannon. He also used Chris's cell phone and was seen wearing Chris's shoes. After they didn't show up to the party like they were supposed to, Shannon and Chris's friends began calling and texting them and received no response. Later, around 11 p.m., 2 of Chris's friends went to the apartment from where the couple had been kidnapped and found his truck in the parking lot. They noticed Shannon's SUV was gone. A witness who worked as a driver for Waste Connections around 12:30 a.m. on January 7th noticed that the lights on the Chipman Street house were on and the house seemed to be busy for that time of night. He saw a 4Runner in front of the house and porch lights on. The witness later observed the 4Runner drive slowly by him. The car slowed down for about 20 seconds as if the occupants were checking him out. He saw 4 black men in the car. Another witness who lived 1 block from the Chipman Street heard 3 pops in the direction of the train tracks at about 1:45 a.m. At 12:20 p.m., railroad employees discovered Chris's body. There was semen inside his body, but when they set him on fire, it made the DNA unusable. When Shannon didn't show up for work, friends and family started searching for her. Her family filed a missing persons report, but were told by police they'd have to look for her by themselves. They called her cell phone provider and got the last pinged location, which was the Cherry Street area. They drove there and found Shannon's abandoned 4Runner. This was around 1:30 a.m. that Monday. They noticed the seat was pushed all the way back, and Shannon would have been too short to reach the pedals in that position. There was mud all over the floor of the vehicle, and she had always kept it very clean. Window stickers had been removed, as well as a teddy bear she kept in there was gone. Also, a pack of Newport cigarettes were left behind, not cigarettes that Shannon or Chris smoked. Police were able to get a fingerprint from inside the 4Runner, which led them 2 blocks away from the vehicle, to LaMarcus Davidson, the newly released felon renting the house on Chipman Street. The police went to the house. It was empty, but they did find Shannon dead in the trash, and many of Chris's and Shannon's belongings in the house. They also found shell casings which matched the bullets used to kill Chris. A manhunt for Davidson was underway, and after police learned of phone calls between Davidson and one other of the people responsible, Eric Boyd, they found Boyd. They asked where Davidson was, and he led them to a vacant house where they found him, still wearing Chris's shoes. They also found the gun there. During an interrogation, Davidson told 5 different stories about what happened, first claiming he wasn't at the house and he doesn't know what happened. On January 11th, Giovanni Thomas, Latalvis Cobbins, and Vanessa Coleman were arrested in Lebanon, Kentucky. Vanessa claimed that she was present during the crimes, but was also a hostage at the house. The suspects were all tried separately for the carjacking, torture, rape, and murder of Shannon and Chris. Here is the testimony from Latalvis Cobbins describing what happened.
On New Year's of 06, 07, me and my girlfriend and my best friend came down here to Knoxville to celebrate New Year's with my brother. This is the first New Year's that he's been out since we were young teenagers. And I haven't seen him in years. And he had went to the penitentiary for carjacking. So I hadn't seen him, and I just wanted to reunite with him and see how he was doing. I had previously came down 2 or 3 times before that. So when me, my girlfriend, my best friend, and his girlfriend came down here, we spent New Year's together, and Stacy Lawson, George's girlfriend, went back, and we stayed down here. I think it was the first New Year. The first weekend after New Year's, a Friday, I believe, a Friday or Thursday. My brother got into it with his girlfriend Daphne, and he beat her up. And she left. Saturday afternoon, me and my girlfriend Vanessa was in the back room, playing house, I should say, having sex or whatnot. And so we get done. We go in the living room where G is, watch a movie. It's getting dark. It's getting around dark. My brother comes in and calls me into the living room, into the kitchen, and says, hey, you know this girl I've been telling you about that I want you to meet? We finna go over here and meet her. She got a cell for me or whatnot, so I want you to come and meet her. So I'm like, all right, but I can't, how I'm gonna leave? You know, and Vanessa's here. I can't just leave Vanessa like that. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to just tell her we going to the store. Just get your shoes and your coat and come on. So I said, all right. So he tells her we're going to the store. I get my coat. We leave. As we're walking out of the house, out of the yard, I notice Eric Ward, his car is down the street, like 2 or 3 houses down the street. He said, E's going to take us over there. So we get in the car. As we get in the car, he and my brother and E is telling me about this girl, how cute she is and how she get money. She's a hustler and they want me to meet her. And E says he's been knowing the girl for a while because he used to date her cousin. That's how he know the girl. So I'm like, all right. So as E's telling me about the girl, my brother is in the passenger seat and he's rolling up a wet blunt. Well, let me explain what a wet blunt is. It's when someone pours embalming fluid on weed and let it dry and then roll it up in a blunt. So he's rolling up a wet blunt, but I didn't know it was a wet blunt at the time. So I'm just thinking it's a regular blunt. We smoke weed all the time. So he rolls up the blunt, he lights it, takes a few pulls off of it and passes it to me. I'm smoking as they're both telling me about this girl that they want me to meet. So I noticed the blunt tasted kind of funny, but I just thought it was the flavor of the cigar. I didn't think nothing of it. So it's around dark now. It's dark now, and we pull into some apartments. So we're riding around the apartments, and we done rolled around about twice. I'm like, what's going on while y'all riding around the apartments? So he's like, man, it's been a while since I've been to her crib. I gotta remember which one is her crib. So next thing I know, we pull back in a parking spot. He's like, that's her apartment right up there. So we pull back. He puts the car in park, but he never turns the car off. He puts it in park. He looks at my brother, and they both jump out of the car. They run right in front of where we just parked to this white SUV. I noticed at the SUV, it was a girl sitting in the driver's side and a guy standing at the driver's side. The door is open, and they're hugging or kissing or something. So my brother and they carjacked these people, and I get out of the car, man, what y'all doing? What's going on? What y'all doing? So they pull out. He said, man, follow us. I said, man, what are y'all doing? I'm finna go back to the house. I don't want nothing to do with it. Y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping. He was like, man, we finna go back to the house. We going back to the house. Just follow us. You don't know where you're going. Just follow us. So I said, man. So I get back in the car, and I'm not knowing what to do, what's going on. So I'm not familiar with Knoxville. So I'm saying, man, all right, I'm gonna follow y'all. We're going back to the house, right? He said, yeah, we're going to the house. Just follow us. So I followed them back to the house. They park. The house is here. The street goes down this way. They park in front of the house. I passed them in the white car and parked like 3 houses down across from this girl named Rhonda Dukes, who buys drugs from my brother. I park across the street from her house. I start walking back up towards the house. The white SUV is facing in the area that I'm coming from. So I can tell that it's movement going on inside the truck, but it's dark and they don't have the light on inside the truck. So I don't know what's going on, but I can tell it's some movement going on. So I walk past the truck, go into the yard, run up to the door. Boom, 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 beat on the door. Giovanni, we call him G. Giovanni comes to the door, like, man, you beating like you the police. What's going on? What's up? He looked past me like, oh, that's a nice truck, nice ride. Who ride that is? I said, man, you don't even want to know, man. These folks is tripping. He like, what you mean? I said, man, they just carjacked these people, man. They just carjacked these people, man. I don't know, man. They tripping, man. They tripping. I said, look, forget that. Just go and get your stuff. Get a few things. Man, we got to get up out of here. This is not the place to be right now. We got to get up out of here. Where Vanessa at? Man, she back there asleep. I said, man, all right, we got to get up out of here. He like, man, what happened? I said, man, it don't even matter what happened. We got to get up out of here. So as I'm telling him all of that, my brother walks in with the girl. He got her by her arm, and he's put his hoodie over her, and the hood is over her head. Her eyes are blindfolded with a bandana, and he comes in. Every boy comes in behind him, holding the guy. The girl got a bandana around her eyes and her hands bound in front of her. He comes in with the guy holding his arm. I noticed the guy has a bandana around his eyes, and his hands are tied behind him. So I look at George. I look back at them, and I nodded at George like go ahead and start getting your stuff. So my brother looked at me. Then he looks at Eric like, yeah, go ahead and do that. I said, man, y'all tripping, man. What is y'all doing? Y'all tripping. He like, man, whatever. So as E and the guy turns to leave out of the door, I leave out of that whole little scene happening in the little sunroom. So I leave out of there, going through the living room, through the kitchen, back to the back bedroom where me and Vanessa slept. I went back there to wake her up. George is grabbing his things. I wake her up. Man, Vanessa, wake up. Get your stuff, get your clothes on. We gotta leave. We gotta get up out of here. She was like, baby, what's wrong? What's going on? I said, don't worry about that. Just grab some of your stuff. We gotta get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? My brother and them, they tripping. They just done some shit, man. Just get your stuff together. And don't let my brother know what you're doing. We gotta get up out of here. So as I'm telling her this, my brother calls me to the living room. As I come in the living room, I notice the girl. I come through the door of the living room. I notice the girl is sitting here against the wall with the hood is off of her now. I notice the blindfold is pulled down. It's hanging around her neck. The living room was dark. The light was off. The only light in the living room was the TV from the DVD, the blue light shining from the TV. So I couldn't really tell if her hands were still bound, but to me, I think they were. I think her hands were still bound. So I go into the living room. What's up? What's going on, man? What's good? He was like, man, go get me some water out of the kitchen. So I go get the water. I bring it back to him. I said, man, y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping. He like, man, nah, don't even worry about it. Don't worry. I said, man, y'all, come here. I got to talk to you, man. You tripping. He was like, all right, hold on. So he gives the girl the water. She drinks it. Give him the cup back. He gives me the cup. He said, hold on, just hold on. I go back into the kitchen, put the cup in the sink, just standing there like, man, I don't know what's going on. They tripping. So as I'm standing there, I'm starting to feel the effects of that wet blunt because I never did that. My brother have done it before. He tried to get me to do it. I'm like, if it ain't regular weed, I don't want it. So I'm starting to feel real ill, real sick. So then he comes into the kitchen. He's like, yeah, what's up? I said, man, y'all tripping, man. Man, what is you doing, man? Do you even know what you doing, man? You tripping. He like, nah, I got this, man. I got this, man. Don't worry about it. I got this. I said, man, how you got it, man? You just contacted these folks and brought them back to your crib, man. You tripping, man. That's dumb. That's stupid. He was like, man, I got this, man. I said, man, look here. Don't have the police come looking for me over some stuff you done did, man. Don't. He like, man, if the police do get involved, I'll take my charge. I done been to the penitentiary before. It ain't nothing. I'll take my charges. I said, you better. I said, man, and I think that's real effed up about, you know what I mean, how y'all got me out there, man. Why you lie to me like that? He was like, shh, I know if I told you what we was going to do, you wasn't going to come. So that's the only way I can get you out there to tell you, about the girl I've been telling you about. I said, man, that's messed up, bro. I hope your brother do. You supposed to tell me, man, don't worry about it. I got this, man. You sound like a little girl. You want purses and makeup? I said, man, whatever, dude, whatever. I walked out, went back into the back bedroom where George and Vanessa were. He goes back into his room. So I said, y'all ready? Y'all got y'all stuff together? He said, G said, man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. So Vanessa said, man, baby, what's going on? You don't look right. What's going on? I said, man, they gave me one of them wet blunts, and I don't feel good. I just want to get up out of here. So she said, what happened? I started telling her what happened, how they carjacked the people. So then my brother screamed, hey, Ron, what y'all back there doing? Man, y'all making me paranoid. Matter of fact, everybody come in the living room. I look around at them. I said, man, come on, y'all. So we go in the living room. My brother comes out in the living room. What y'all back there doing? Y'all too quiet. You know, I get paranoid when it gets too quiet. What's going on? I said, man, we be asking you what's going on. You the one tripping. You the one carjack these people. Nah, man, I told you I got this, man. Why you still tripping, man? I said, man, you tripping, man. You got all us involved in this, man. You tripping. Man, look, man. I said, you know what? We finna go. We ain't got nothing to do with this. We finna go. You do what you do. We ain't gonna tell on you, man. You gonna end up getting caught yourself. So we finna go. Nah, ain't nobody going nowhere. What you mean ain't nobody going nowhere? We finna go, dude. You ain't talking about nothing. We finna go. Nah. He pulled his gun out of his pocket. He didn't point it at nobody, but he just pulls it out. I'm like, dang, bro, you gonna kill me now? You pulling your gun on me? You gonna kill me now? I'm your bro. You gonna kill me? Nah, I ain't gonna kill you. But I'll shoot your ass, but I ain't gonna kill you. George, you know, I don't like you anyway. I'll shoot you. And Vanessa, don't make me shoot your little pretty butt. So I'm like, man, y'all sit down, man. Y'all sit down. So he told us we couldn't go nowhere or whatever. I said, man, look, we just finna go. He like, wait, you ain't got nowhere to go. You don't know nobody. I said, man, we can walk to Vince's house. We can go to Vince's house. So, oh, you want to go to Vince's house, huh? All right. I'll take you to Vince. Just hold on. I'll take you over to the Vince. Nah, you don't need to take us nowhere, bro. You tripping. You gone off that wet blunt, man. You tripping. Man, look, I'm going to take you to Vince's crib. Just chill out. I'm going to take you to Vince's crib. Just hold on. I said, man, I ain't got no choice. You done pull your gun out, say you gonna shoot people. I ain't got no choice but to sit down. He said, you damn right. So I sit down. He goes back into his room. He gets on the phone. He's walking back and forth from his bedroom through the living room to the kitchen, back and forth to his bedroom. Me, Giovanni, we're sitting in the two chairs by the kitchen door. Vanessa, she's sitting on the floor crying, saying she don't understand what's going on, sitting on the floor crying. I said, baby, it's going to be all right. Stop crying. It's going to be all right. So my brother has a credit card in his hand. He's walking back and forth through the house with a credit card in his hand. So G gets up, goes into the kitchen, sits at the table, start rolling a blunt of weed. Me and Vanessa goes into the kitchen and sit at the table. That's where we usually sit at and smoke weed. Sit around the table and smoke weed. So Vanessa said, here, baby, smoke this blunt, see if it'll make you feel better. Maybe it'll help you calm down. I said, nah, I think it'll make it worse. She said, nah, just take a few pulls, just calm down. I said, all right. So I took a few pulls off the blunt, but it didn't do nothing to make me feel worse. So As we're in there smoking, my brother comes to the kitchen door. Oh, y'all ain't gonna smoke with me? I can't hit the blunt. I can't hit the blunt. So George handed him the blunt. He takes the blunt. He said, matter of fact, come here, I need to holler at you anyway. I look up. He said, not you. I'm talking to G. Come here, G. Let me holler at you right quick. G look at me. He gets up. They go into the living room. I can hear my brother saying, look, you know I don't trust you. So you got to do something for me to trust you. You got to do something, to, you know what I mean, so I can trust you. You got to earn my trust. Him and George had got into it previously about a few days before that. And he had pushed G up against the wall or whatnot, so I could tell G was kind of scared of him. So G was like, all right. So about 5 or 10 minutes later, G and my brother leave. While they're gone, the girl is still in my brother's room. Vanessa's she's telling me her stomach is hurting. So she gets up and goes to the bathroom. I tell her that I'm finna go and check on the girl. As I go and check on the girl, I ask her, is she okay? She asked me, could she get some water? I brought her some water out of the refrigerator. When I went into the room, she's laying on the air mattress with her hands bound over her head. She's laying on her back. Her hands are tied, still tied like this, and tied to a duffel bag full of free weights and books and stuff. Same thing with her feet. Her ankles are tied, and it's tied to a duffel bag. It's tied to a duffel bag with weights and books in it. So I untied her hands. Well, I didn't untie her hands. I untied the string that was going to the duffel bag. I untied it so she could sit up and drink the water. I gave her the water. She drank the water like that. She asked me what's going on. I said, I don't know. She asked me where her boyfriend is. I said, I don't know. She asked me could she smoke a cigarette. Her cigarettes and her purse were sitting on the bookshelf behind me. I could see a pack of red and white Marlboros on the book stand. I said, I don't see why not. I took a cigarette out, lit it for her, and gave it to her. She asked me, why were we doing this? I told her, it's not me. It's not me. It's not me. I don't have anything to do with this. Matter of fact, we're being held here against our will just like you are. The only difference is that you're tied up and we're not. So she started asking me, would I convince him to let her go? I said, I'll try. She said, just please, just please. She said, please, can you just convince him to let me go? I said, I'll try. And she said, I'll do anything. Just please, just let me go. And she even offered oral sex. So, and I had her give me oral sex. She gave me oral sex. As I started to ejaculate, I heard a noise outside, and I heard Vanessa's flushing the toilet. So I got spooked. I jumped up, fixed my clothes. As I ejaculated, it got on her shirt and some on her pants. I fixed myself. I fixed my clothes. I put her back like I found her, and went back into the living room and sat down. Vanessa came out of the bathroom. We sat there on the floor, just sat there looking stupid. A few minutes later, Slim my brother, George, both of them come back. They come back in. George was looking crazy. My brother came in, went back to his bedroom. George came in, went to the back, then sat back at the kitchen table. We sat back at the table. All three of us, me, George, and Vanessa, sat back at the table. About 15 to 30 minutes later, my brother came and got George, and they left again. This time, me and Vanessa just sat there in the living room. Just sat there. Just sat there looking stupid. So, my brother and them, they come back, spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The first time they left, they was only gone for like 45 minutes to an hour. This time they came back, it had been an hour and a half to 2 hours. When they come back, they both had on dark clothes. So you can't really tell what it is, but you can see a dark stain on George's clothes and dark stains on my brother's clothes. George went to the back and changed clothes. And my brother changed clothes as well. Soon after that, every boy came over. And my brother came out in the living room. They talked for a minute, and the both of them went back in his bedroom. A few minutes later, my brother comes out and says, "All right, come on, I'll take y'all to Vince's house." So we all go out and get into the SUV. We go to the store first. My brother went and got some cigarettes and some cigars. And we go to some apartments. I said, "Man, what you doing? Thought you was taking us to Vince's house." He was like, "Yeah, I got to check on something right quick. Hold on. So he gets out, goes, knocks on the door. Some girl comes to the door. He talks to the girl for a minute. Then we get back in. He get back in the car, and we all go to Vince's crib. Vince wasn't there. So we all came back to the house. We came back to the house. Every boy, he left the house. When he came back, he didn't have the guy with him. So I didn't know where the guy was. I didn't know what had happened to him. When we was younger, my brother would always tell me stories about how him and his friend carjacked somebody or whatever and took him to the ATM and made them withdraw money and left them tied up somewhere, but he never did nothing to them. So my assumption was they got the guy tied up somewhere, but I didn't think they did anything to him. So Eric leaves the house. And we all just sit there looking stupid. My brother goes back into his room. My brother keeps the back door. It got a deadbolt lock that you can only open with a key. He keeps that lock at all times. And the windows, he got nails in the windows where you can open it, but it'll only open like that far. So me, George, and Vanessa went to the back room talking. In the back room or whatever. That's the end of Saturday night, going into Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, Pimpin', the guy named Pimpin' that gets drugs from my brother, he came over to get some drugs from my brother, but I don't know if he got any or not. He didn't come. He didn't stay at the house long, so I don't think he got anything. Time goes past. Sunday night, my brother's girlfriend, Daphne, comes over. He's called her on the phone and told her to come get her things. So she comes over. I had forgot that she came over because I didn't really look up at her. I didn't speak to her or nothing like that. So I forgot she even came over. So they get into an argument. She leave. My brother gave some things to Vanessa and said that it was Daphne's stuff. That since she didn't want it, if Vanessa wanted it, she could have it, or he was just gonna throw it away. Which, come to find out, it wasn't Daphne's. It was Miss Christian's. Sunday night, he brings the girl out of his room, and I noticed that she didn't have any clothes on from the waist down, no shoes on, no socks. He takes her into the kitchen. As he has her in the kitchen, me and Vanessa and George, he make all of us come in the kitchen in the back utility room, make us stand there for a minute. So as we're all standing there, he puts his arm around the girl's neck, tries to kill her, tries to choke her. He lets her go and she falls. She falls to the floor. We're all thinking that he didn't kill that girl. I said, man, what are you doing, man? You tripping. So at this point, it wasn't even no talking to him. He was just like a madman. He was just crazy. So I'm not knowing what to do. I'm feeling bad because I done brought my girlfriend and my best friend down here, and now we're all caught up in this madness. I don't want anything to happen to them. I don't want anything to happen to me either. So I didn't do nothing to stop it. I didn't do anything to stop it. When the girl was on the floor, my brother waved his gun at Vanessa, made her come and check the girl's pulse. And Vanessa said, I don't know. So then my brother gets mad, puts the gun to her head and says, you better know, you better check it and find out, you better know. So Vanessa starts crying. She said, I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not a nurse. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So he looked at me. I said, man, I'm not doing nothing. You might as well shoot me right now. I'm not doing nothing. He said, man, what? He looks at me and then looks at Vanessa. And, man, well, get this bitch out of here then. Take her in the other room. I said, man. So at that point, I'm like, okay, this is our chance. This is our chance to escape. We can get out of here. So I said, come on, George. We going to the living room. She said, nah, George, you stay in here. You stay in here with me. I said, man. So we went in the living room and sat there. Vanessa's crying. I'm holding her, telling her to stop crying. My brother ties the girl up in a fetal position. So he ties the girl up. ties the girl up, put her in the garbage can. Made all of us go in the back room. He got back on the phone. So that was early Monday morning. So it was Sunday night, Monday morning, the mid hours. He as it started to get daylight, I say around, honestly, I don't know what time it was, but after it got daylight, he left. Then when he did leave, and the three of us were there, I said, come on, y'all, let's go. We got up out of there. We walked all the way to Vince's house. It took a few hours, but we walked down there to Vince's house. I told Vince what happened. I said, man, my brother's tripping. Man, he didn't carjack and kill some people, man. He's really tripping. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. He said, well, did you have a part in it? Me being scared, not. I said, man, I ain't had nothing to do with it. He said, you had nothing to do with it? I said, nah. He didn't rape that girl, and I think they didn't kill dude. I don't know. He said, man, you didn't have nothing to do with nothing. You ain't have nothing to do with nothing. I said, nah, man, I ain't had nothing to do with nothing. And I admit I lied. I lied because that girl, I did have the girl give me oral sex. And so he said, man, all right, I'm going to get y'all out of here. So we went and stayed at a girl that used to buy crack from him. We stayed at her house. And then the next day, he got us a ride back to Kentucky. We got back to Kentucky. Well, while I was at Vince's house, I called my mom and my sister. I said, man, bro up here tripping, man. He just did some crazy stuff, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So my mom asked me, did I call the police? I said, no, I didn't call the police. She said, well, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you do something to stop it? I said, Mom, man, dude up here, bro, really tripping, Mom. He pulling guns on people, and I got my girlfriend with me and my friend. I ain't trying to get nobody shot. She was like, well, what you finna do? I said, Mom, I don't know what to do. Vince said he can give me a ride back to Kentucky, so we're gonna go back to Kentucky, and I'll figure something out when I get there. So we ended up going back to Kentucky. And we got to Kentucky, we went to Blue's house, Natasha Hayes. We went to her house. And later on that night, I called my mom and my sister again. And my sister was telling me that we was on the news. They had our pictures on the news saying that we was wanted for questioning. So she called my cousin on three-way. My cousin was telling me, man, y'all in some deep shit, man. Y'all in some deep shit. Man, I said, man, I don't know what to do. Should I call the police or what? I mean, they might arrest me and take me. So my cousin was like, man, if they don't find your brother, then yeah, they gonna keep you and hold you responsible for everything. I said, man, but I ain't had nothing to do with it. I ain't know they was gonna do that. He was like, man, did you have anything to do with it? I said, no. He said, you ain't had nothing to do with it. I said, no, I ain't had nothing to do with it. He was like, well, they still gonna hold you. If they catch you and don't find him, they gonna hold you. They gonna keep you for that. I said, man. So my sister was like, don't worry, bro, don't worry. We're gonna find some lawyers and we'll see what we can do. We're gonna find some lawyers and see what we can do. I said, all right, while y'all do that, I'm gonna write the police number down and I'll call them from a payphone tomorrow. Call them from a payphone so they won't know where I'm at, and we can try to make something happen. Get some lawyers and see what we can do about this. I wasn't able to call the police the next day because the next day the police was at the house, surrounded the house that morning. They took us all into custody. But that night when we got there, I had told everybody, look, y'all say we came back when Stacy came back, man, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's going on. So just to keep everybody in the clear, just say we all came back when Stacy came back. So Stacy ended up coming over there, and I told her to say we came back with her. She said, "Nah, I can't do that. I can't. I know I came back, but y'all didn't come back with me." I said, "Dang, Stacy, man, dude, just killed these people, man. We all wrapped up in it, man. You gotta say we came back with you." She was like, "I'm not getting involved with that. I'm not getting involved." I said, "Man, well, if they come, I'm just telling what happened. I'm just telling the truth." So the next day, the police came, took us all into custody, questioned us. They said I was the first male of the three of us to be questioned. They asked me what happened, and I didn't tell the truth. I told bits and pieces of the truth, but I just left out what I did because I was scared. I knew that this was a real bad, horrible situation, and I knew what they did to them people was terrible, and I didn't want to be a part. I didn't want to have nothing to do with it, so I tried to distance myself from it as much as I could. So when the police asked me, did I have anything to do with it? Did I have sex with that girl? I told them no. I lied again. They said, "Are you sure you didn't have no sexual contact with that girl?" I said, no. Which I did. I was scared, man. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, I didn't know what to do. I knew I was caught up in some real bad mess, man. So they got through questioning me. I cried and all of that. They let me go out and smoke a cigarette. They brought me back in, and two other officers came in and questioned me again. One of the officers sitting there questioned me with another guy, and they asked me again, what happened? And I still told bits and pieces, still leaving out what I did. And the guy that was with him asked me, "Did you have sex with that girl?" I said, no. No, I did not have sex with that girl. He asked me again. He said, "Are you sure? You positive that you did not have sex with this girl? There's no reason that your DNA should be on this girl anywhere." I said, no. All I did was gave that girl some water. I did not have sex with that girl. I lied again. I sit here today in front of y'all and admit I lied repeatedly. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. And I understand that by me lying so many times that you all are probably sitting there wondering, why should y'all believe me now? Since I've already lied to the police so many times. To be honest, I feel like if I don't tell y'all now, because at this point, at this stage, I ain't got no reason to lie. I have nothing to lose by telling y'all the truth and what happened. The DA has already put on their proof about my DNA being on that girl. I can't deny that. Yes, my DNA was on that girl. I did have oral sex with that girl. I can't deny that. That's why I'm sitting here telling you now what happened, how it happened, that I did not have any knowledge about what was going on before it happened, and I didn't want a part of it. And yet, I still had oral sex with that girl. I'm not sitting here and asking you all to disregard that, because I'm wrong for that. And I deserve to be punished for what I did, which I have pled guilty to, and I've manned up and pled guilty to that. And I want to take this time to I know that I was wrong for that, and that's why I wanted to take this time to sit up here and let y'all know what happened. But I did not have anything to do with them people getting killed. I did not know about what was going to happen. And I'm sorry. To the families, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
In the end, Vanessa Coleman was convicted of facilitation of aggravated kidnapping, facilitation of rape, and facilitation of the murder of Shannon Christian. She was sentenced to 35 years. Eric Boyd was found guilty in federal court of being an accessory to a fatal carjacking and failing to report the location of a known fugitive. Boyd was the first to go to trial, the only suspect not charged with murder. He was sentenced to the maximum of 18 years in federal prison. LaTalvis Cobbins was found guilty of the murders of Shannon Christian and Christopher Newsom. Cobbins faced the possibility of the death penalty because he was convicted of first-degree felony murder in the case of Christian. He was found guilty of facilitating the murder of Newsom, but he was acquitted of Newsom's rape. Cobbins, who you heard giving testimony in court, was sentenced to life without parole. Giovanni Thomas was found guilty on all 38 counts he was charged with. He was given 2 life sentences to be served consecutively for the murders and 25 years for the rapes. On October 28, 2009, Lamarcus Davidson was found guilty. The jurors unanimously found Davidson should receive the death penalty on the 4 capital charges, 2 first-degree felony murder charges, and the 2 premeditated first-degree murders. In June 2010, Davidson was sentenced to 80 years for other charges related to the murders. During sentencing, Judge Baumgartner said the crime was, quote, one of the most incredibly outrageous, cruel, and inhumane cases this court has ever seen. He also said, how people can engage in this type of conduct is just unexplainable, and there is no sentence great enough to punish you for the conduct you have been convicted of. That's today's 10-Minute Murder, the brief and bingeable true crime podcast. Obviously, a little longer than 10 minutes today, but thanks for listening today, and thank you again to Casey for sending that story suggestion to me. If you have one, you can email it to 10minutemurder@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening right now, and you'll never miss another episode. And if you have friends that are into true crime stories, tell them about 10-Minute Murder. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.